This is a horrible truth, and you as reader will have that feeling as part of your life, whether you like it or not. The novels, poems, and even the most excited books cannot get you out of this situation because this problem is not related to books. And I see lots of people in YouTube are giving advice and tips about books and the way you should read them. But this problem is related to the very act of reading itself, and sometimes no tips can help you, and you should just stop reading for a while and the problem will vanish. So it is better to accept it and understand the ways by which we can make this problem easier to overcome and not to solve it completely. There is nothing to be afraid of when facing a reading slump, because this is reality. When you are a reader, especially an avid one, the world around you, the atmosphere, look at this place, look at this background. The world around you is like this, and this is not reality, this is fiction. This is far from the reality, and you are living in this fictional world. When you open the pages of a book, you are entering the world of that book, and this means that you are leaving the world of reality behind. And it is very normal for the reality to interfere and say, hello, this is not reality, you are in a fictional world, come back to this world. And this must happen because some of us, when reading, neglect our lives, our families, our jobs, our amusements, and most importantly, ourselves. If you know about the cognitive poetics in literary criticism, and especially the notions of mental spaces and possible words, you may understand me better. Because in that structure, we talked about this movement from fiction to reality, and again from reality to fiction. I promise I will make a video about that, because that was the subject of my thesis in the university. So I can talk about it, and I can elaborate on this subject, because it is very important both in literature and in our lives. So what we concluded so far is that you need to come back to the world of reality. You need to think about yourself and review your reading goals one more time. Why are you reading? And why are you facing a reading slump right now? What causes this reading slump? Is your reading process more important than that cause, or no? That cause is more important. These are the essential questions that you must ask yourself. After pondering on these questions and finding suitable answers, I can say your reading slump will be solved by 80%. And don't forget that you are the best doctor for your problems and not others. Before giving my personal tips about reading slump, I love to know how you deal with this problem. So write down your experiences of reading slump for me and others who will watch this video in the future. Thank you. By the way, my name is Sohail, and if you're interested in topics related to literature, reading, literary criticism, and so on, hit that subscribe button to watch my future videos as well. And like this post if you think it adds value so far. I started reading avidly in about 2015, 2016, yeah. And since then, I experienced lots of reading slumps. So here are my 4 tips I can give you to overcome this problem. But don't forget the realities I said so far. Tip number 1, always dedicate some time to yourself and take a break from reading. Just a step back and don't push too much to read during the reading slump, because your brain needs to rest before you get back to reading again. If you try hard and read more and more, your reading slump will get worse and becomes harder to solve. Check your schedule, and if it is possible, you can have 1 or 2 days off in your week, and this will help you a lot. Tip number 2, reorganize your reading space. Look at the space I have. Beautiful and romantic, especially when I turn this on. Wow. Let's read something. You can also have a candle here, a cup of coffee, or special kinds of lights, and so on. The suitable and romantic atmosphere invites you to read more, and sometimes this tip alone can solve the problem of slump reading. You can also leave the space, go to coffee shops, parks, libraries, or anywhere you like to read there. Tip number 3 is to change the genres of the books you're currently reading. If you read historical novels so far, switch to the genre of romantic novels. Or if you're reading self-help books, now try to read more complex psychological books. You can also return to your previous favorite books, which heightens your emotions in the past. So we can say that playing with different genres and subjects can also help you pass this kind of reading slump period. And finally, tip number 4, change your mode of reading. If you have been reading physical books lately, you can now try some good audiobooks and listen to them while you're doing your houseworks, before going to bed, or even while you go jogging. But remember that you must always return to physical books, because the feeling of reading physical books is very special and unique. Well, these are my tips for you, and don't forget, do not panic when facing reading a slump, because this is something totally normal, and this happens to all readers, whether common readers or the professional ones. Let me know about your experiences of reading a slump and the ways you deal with this problem, because the experiences of real people are too much valuable, and your specific experiences can change the whole process, the whole reading process of another person in another country. Thanks for watching. Take care.